Ayatollah Khomeini's exile from Iran in 1964 resulted from a multi-layered clash between his rising political influence, his uncompromising ideological opposition to the Pahlavi monarchy, and the Shah's growing fear that he had become the most powerful voice of resistance in the country. By the early 1960s, Khomeini had evolved from a respected cleric into the leading critic of Shah Mohammad Reza Pahlavi's authoritarian policies, Western alignment, and reform programs that he viewed as anti-Islamic and harmful to Iran's sovereignty. He challenged the legitimacy of the monarchy by arguing that the Shah's rule was tyrannical, unconstitutional, corrupt, and disconnected from the cultural and historical identity of the Iranian people. The introduction of the White Revolution in 1963, supported strongly by the United States and presented as a modernization program, intensified conflict. Khomeini asserted that reforms such as land redistribution, women's suffrage, privatization, and industrial modernization were a strategic effort to weaken Islamic institutions, destroy traditional social structures, and increase Iran's dependency on the West. His speeches rallied clerics, students, merchants, workers, and rural communities, transforming him into the central figure of national opposition. Tensions escalated further when the Shah passed the Capitulation Law in 1964, granting American military and diplomatic personnel full immunity from Iranian courts. Khomeini condemned the law as the greatest affront to national dignity, accusing the Shah of surrendering Iran's independence to the United States. His speech reverberated across seminaries, bazaars, mosques, and universities, igniting widespread anger and unifying the opposition. SAVAK, the Shah's intelligence agency, concluded that Khomeini's presence could spark a revolt, and the monarchy decided on immediate removal. On November 4, 1964, Khomeini was secretly arrested and exiled to Turkey in an attempt to silence him. Instead, his exile strengthened his symbolic power. Posters, recordings, and teachings continued circulating, turning him into a national icon of resistance. After nearly a year under restrictions in Turkey, he was permitted to move to Najaf, Iraq, a major center of Shia scholarship, where he resumed teaching and began developing ideas that would later shape the future political system of Iran. In Najaf, Ayatollah Khomeini spent 14 years refining and promoting a comprehensive political doctrine that transformed him into a global, revolutionary figure and eventually reshaped the state structure of Iran. His most influential intellectual contribution during this period was the theory of wilayat faqih, which argued that in the absence of the hidden imam, leadership of the Islamic community should be entrusted to a qualified Islamic jurist capable of safeguarding moral, political, and social interests. Although initially criticized by traditional scholars, this doctrine gained traction among students and activists from Iran, Pakistan, Afghanistan, Lebanon, India, and the Gulf states, eventually becoming the foundation of the Islamic Republic's constitution. Khomeini maintained strong influence inside Iran through a clandestine network of cassette tapes and written statements smuggled into the country, which circulated through factories, universities, mosques, and military bases. As Iran entered a period of severe unrest in the late 1970s marked by political repression, economic inequality, corruption, cultural alienation, and rising public dissatisfaction, Khomeini's messages gained unprecedented resonance. Pressure from the Shah led Iraqi authorities to expel Khomeini in 1978, pushing him to relocate to Paris, where he gained unmatched access to international media. Global newspapers and broadcasting networks amplified his voice, turning him into a worldwide political figure whose statements fueled mass protests and strikes inside Iran. By early 1979, the monarchy had collapsed under immense public pressure, and the Shah left the country. Khomeini returned to Iran on February 1, 1979, greeted by millions in one of history's largest crowds, and within 10 days the monarchy fell. As supreme leader, he oversaw the drafting of the new constitution, restructuring of the military, establishment of the IRGC, educational reforms, and key events such as the U.S. Embassy hostage crisis and the Iran-Iraq War. His leadership emphasized resistance to foreign interference, social justice, Islamic governance, and protection of national independence. Even after his death in 1989, his writings, speeches, and political framework continued shaping Iran's identity and influencing movements across the Middle East, South Asia, and Africa. His exile intended to silence him, ultimately amplified his influence and paved the way for the creation of a new political system